In our closet, we found a Norval Morriseau, who was a First Nation artist, popular in the 1980s and 90s. He only recently died. We pulled it out and had a good look at it. It's framed behind glass, and as you can see, there is a border which was glued on and made it impossible for us to peel back to see if there was an actual date. But when we examined it closely, we could see that it was actually comprised of 3 images, each with its own stamp or signature. And that was a clue to us that we were probably dealing with something that was original. But we had to look into it a little more deeply to see exactly what kind of an original we were dealing with. My first question was, why were there 3 images on this one page? So I thought that I was dealing with some kind of a reproduction, maybe not an original work, and definitely was possible that we were dealing with a print, like a lithographic print. After doing some research, I determined that forgeries weren't created until 1985, and if this work was picked up before that, potentially at Expo 67, where my in-laws lived at the time, made it possible that it was not a reproduction. So I was looking at this idea of form line and found that Norval Morriseau created his form line by making the interiors first with the black lines around them afterwards. And as you can see, that is not what's going on here. And so I became very curious. How is it possible that if this was a lithographic print, would it be possible that the black form line was coming in first, which is what was happening with forgeries if the work was made before 1985. So we eventually were able to track down a document that showed that it was purchased in Vancouver, which meant that my in-laws, who had moved to Vancouver in sometime around 1980, it was still before the forgeries were possible, and there is some kind of documented evidence of the existence of this work, rather than it just being some kind of a knockoff. So that solved the problem, but it also raised the question of why would a lithographic print be incorrect in terms of the way that the form line was distributed? Why was the black line coming in first, when that's what happens in forgeries? And what we found out was, using the document, that this is actually not a reproduction by lithograph, it's a reproduction by silkscreen. And for some reason, they had to put in the silkscreen lines in a way that was not consistent with the way that Norval Morriseau made his own work. And here it goes back into the closet for someone else to discover many years from now.